Guys, it's Katie from Ozma0810, and today I'm going to be doing my first ever full booktube review. Full book review here on booktube. I'm really excited about it. I'm actually going to be talking about a book that I read a long time ago. It actually came out in 2009, so it's not a new book. But it's a book that I think that I feel very strongly about, and that I think that everyone should really read it if it's something that applies to you, or if you know somebody who these kind of issues apply to them. The book is
High on Arrival by Mackenzie Phillips.
I don't have an actual picture of the book or the book itself to hold up, because I have this book on my phone, so I actually have it in ebook format, which as I said, this book came out in 2009 and was actually kind of a big deal at the time. It was written by the actress Mackenzie Phillips. If you don't know who Mackenzie Phillips was, she was an actress in the 70s. She did a sitcom called One Day at a Time. I didn't know anything about that show when it first came out, because it was before my time. But I do remember her from a show that was on the Disney Channel called So Weird, and it came out when I was in high school, and played basically from the time I was in middle school all the way up until about halfway through high school. It was on, and I loved that show, and she played the mom on that show, so that's where I first heard about her. Another significant thing about her is that she's the daughter of John Phillips, who is one of the mamas and the papas. And this book, as I said, when it came out, it caused quite a big media storm stuff, because of some of the things that she had written about in the book. It was labeled an incest memoir because of the relationship that she and her father had together, or the relationship that she claims that they had. I'm not going to make any statements on that because I don't know, although it always has seemed strange to me that if that someone would write something like that unless it was actually true. But I can't obviously make any justifications on that. However, I will say that the fact that it's been labeled that way, I think, is really sad, simply because of the fact that when I read it, yeah, the relationship between her and her father is mentioned more than once as part of the story, but something that I feel like obviously sticks out way more was her drug use. She had gone through a lot of drug addiction in her life, and then became clean, and then went back and was using drugs again. And she does go over a lot of that situation that she went through, and I think that the book itself was extremely well written. In fact, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. And the reason that I'm going to do that is because I feel like it's a very well written book. It's a memoir, obviously, so she's writing this story of her life, of her experiences, and I love memoirs. I like reading about people's lives. I like all of that kind of stuff. But what was great about this book when I read it was that I felt like I wasn't reading a memoir. I've read a lot of memoirs, and oftentimes you can really tell that they're just basically telling the story of their life. there's no, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, but there's not a lot of, climax to it, or things that you would get if you're reading a fiction book. But in this book, I really honestly, at several points, felt like I was reading a fiction book. I felt like, she developed her characters really well. She developed her own character very well in this book, and sometimes you didn't really get the feeling that she was talking about herself. You really felt like she was talking about just a character in a story. And I mean, of course, everything is written about first person, and I did this and I did that, but really, I just thought that it was really well written, and I it stayed with me. It has stayed with me since I read it the first time in 2009, because I got this book right after it came out. So, like, the day that it came out, she was on Oprah, and I saw that interview with her on Oprah, and I probably would have gone and gotten it anyway, but seeing the Oprah interview, I was just like, yeah, I have to get it now. So I went and got it the day that it came out, and I did have it in hardback at the time. Now I just don't anymore, because we've moved several times, and unfortunately, it was one of the things that actually kind of got lost in the move. And now I have it in ebook format. But my point is that this book was really good, and I've read it more than once. I've actually read it, like, I think 3 times now, all the way through. So if you enjoy memoirs, or if you enjoy anything like that, I would definitely suggest that you read it. Now, I will say, like I said, I only gave it a 4 out of 5. Really, the reason that I did that was there is there is very graphic language used. But if that bothers you, don't read this book, because it has a lot of really, really bad language in it. Second of all, is the situations that she talks about. There's very explicit moments in the book where she talks about drug use while pregnant, drug use while very young, all these kind of things. If that kind of thing bothers you, I would not read this, because there's just a lot of that in it. If someone has an addiction problem and that kind of thing triggers them, I wouldn't necessarily suggest that they read this book. The third thing that I'm going to bring up is that there is incest in the book. There is discussion of rape, there is discussion of incest. She doesn't describe the rape as being from her father. That's a different situation, which is kind of a spoiler comment, so I will put on this as a spoiler for the book. But if that kind of a thing bothers you, discussions of rape, discussions of incest, those kind of things, again, you should not read this. I wouldn't recommend this to a younger audience, simply because, again, she's talking about very, very graphic details of a very, very difficult existence and difficult life. And I would say, if any of those situations apply to you, you might not want to read it. But if you want to read a story of someone who has overcome a lot, like I've said before, I enjoy reading memoirs. They, I think, can really be life-changing books if you like that kind of thing. If you like to be inspired by someone else's life, I think that this one would be a really great one, unless you have those issues that I talked about. So anyway, that is my book review on the 2009 book by Mackenzie Phillips, High on Arrival. I'm in the process of setting up an Instagram account. Follow me on there, please do. If you want to subscribe, please do. You can like this video or comment below. Thanks for watching. Bye.